Hey, everybody, welcome to episode 257 of the Immigration Lawyers Podcast. I'm pretty sure that's the number. We're doing a real fun one with Joseph Tsang, one of our regulars, talking about office management, how to grow a law firm and stuff. And it goes to his article he contributed to the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox magazine, the last issue, issue number 5, I believe it is, where he has 40 different ways to retain employees and keep the high skilled people, good talent in house so they don't leave. It's really important for me as I'm growing my firm, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it as well. We're going to go into details on that. The magazine is available at immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com/magazine. Check it out there. And also thank you to our main sponsor there and for the podcast, DocWise, who's always been so helpful. You can get additional 10% off your annual plan by going to docwise.com/immigration-lawyers-podcast and using the code Immigration Lawyers Podcast. And my Zoom recording keeps flipping between back and forth between me and Joe. So sorry, Joe, you go on the spot constantly. It's flipping around. But also, it's really important. We're having our conference, the first live conference for the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox in February 24th. Go to immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com/conference to RSVP. It's going to be a bash all day Friday. Great food, great drinks, great guests and speakers. Joseph's going to be one of them. We have an excellent executive committee helping to set it all up. And it's just going to be a lot of fun, first of all, but educational as well. You're going to learn a lot how to increase your practice area to make more money, more business. And we have experts on marketing coming. It's just really magnificent. We're pulling together from the people local in Los Angeles, which is the goal to help highlight local talent. But everyone who's RSVP'd so far, 9 out of 10 have been out of state. We got someone from Australia this morning. We got 5 or 6 from Texas. Florida. We got Texas, Louisiana, Virginia, Colorado, New Jersey. I was really surprised people are making the flight, and almost all of them are listeners to the podcast. So it's really awesome. People have been longtime listeners who haven't reached out. And I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know you were a listener. They're like, yeah, we listened for like 5 years. I'm like, well, you wish you reached out sooner so I know you're there, because it makes you feel good knowing who these people are. But it's going to be a fantastic time. Check out the conference page, and if you want more information, it's not answered there, just email me at info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com. And just a side note, we do have a marriage immigration course for those trying to learn that. Email me if you want more information about that. I don't want to go too much to that because I'm excited to talk with Joseph. How are you doing today?
Hi, everyone. Good to see you.
Well, let's say you did a really cool article for our podcast for the magazine, which is 40 ways to retain employees. And this is really important because I'm growing my team, and I'm constantly thinking about like creative things to make the team happy. And some of them I read online, like, oh, that's gonna be a waste of money, or some of them are good, but I didn't think about it. And so I want to go through that. Let's talk about your firm really quick. How many people are you? So you have a perspective of where you're coming from with your knowledge about this stuff.
Yeah, so when I joined the firm, there were only 2 other people here. We have some branches overseas, but they're also really small. So since joining the firm about 10, 15 years, now we have about 40 people in the US, and then we have total another 40 outside of the US. Most of the people are around between 20-year-old to 30-year-old. And then we have a good number that's, 50s and 60s.
Yeah. And so the first thing that comes up on your list is take care of your team's 401k plan. Where do you go to set something like that up even?
Well, so we could talk about that real quick, but I just want to directly hit the conclusion of the
Sure.
40 things, right? Because at the end of the day, these 40 things are just gim tricks, are just really interesting ideas, and some might be good for some people and some might be good for others. The real bottom line is that as a manager, as a boss, it's up to you to understand what your team needs. And if you are a good listener and you can accommodate them, then they will stay and they will love you, right? And so that is the most important thing. And these are just 40 different ideas. And so 401k is just one of those things. And it's one of the first things that I was able to quickly change in my firm, because when I started understanding more about 401k and I started understanding more how the corporate culture is about 401k, I realized that it's completely flawed. And I started piecing it together, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to change the policy. And because, us being lawyers, we draft bylaws, we draft corporate documents for clients. Clients need a employee handbook. They hire us, they hired another company, and it's like a template. And so a lot of these things, these terms and these conditions, they're all set by people that's behind a desk long time ago, right? And so when I look at the 401k, a lot of times it's like, oh, we contribute, we don't contribute, how much do we contribute, and all these little nuances. And I could just imagine a lawyer a long time ago creating this for the benefit of the company, and nobody's really looked at it since. But you take one good look at it, it's like this policy is not in the best interest of the company or the employer or the employee. So let's just scrap everything and redo it. So that's one of the first things we did. Instead of having all these crazy contingencies on when a company gets to invest for the employee and when the employee gets it and when they can withdraw, it's just all so convoluted. And the middleman, really the handler, gets to make all the money. Instead of that, just whatever your salary is, we will just automatically contribute 3% of that. And we said that 3%. If your company is better, you could do 5% or 10%, but we just automatically contribute. You don't have to worry about it. It's in your retirement account. And when you retire, you get a little nice benefit. And there's a lot of pros and cons to this when you think about it, right? A lot of employers are like, well, no, then, I kind of, if the employee doesn't put it in, then that means we get to save the money. Yes and no, right? Because you're obligated, you're contractually obligated to set aside that amount for the employee, right? Because you promised them it. And so you can't really touch it. And if you can't really touch it, you can't really invest in it. You can't put the money to good use. It's just sitting there. And so it becomes, wasted. So it's much easier for accounting purposes just to say we're automatically going to contribute 3%. You don't even have to put a cent into your 401k. We're just going to do it for you. And then the employees hear that, they're very happy. It's as if they just got a 3% pay bump on whatever they have, right? So little small things like that just to tweak. It's that doesn't really harm you, but it will greatly benefit them. These are the type of things to kind of go through your thinking when you're working with different people on your team. What do they need? Contractors, what do they need? Part-time, what do they need? Interns, what do they need? People who are thinking about retiring, what do they need? Right now, what we're seeing is a lot of people are coming back to work because inflation is so high. So we have people who have been on maternity leave or people who have been stay-at-home moms for 10, 15, 20 years. Now they need job experience coming back into the workforce. People who've retired and now wanting to come back, but they don't want to work that much. So can you create something of value for them where they enjoy it and it also benefits you? So every person is different. And as long as you really pay attention to what their needs are, and they can potentially really contribute to your firm.
Well, that's great. So another one is life insurance. Like, just practically speaking, like, are there companies you call up and they like do this stuff, or did you have to search to find one? How did you go? Because
Yeah.
setting up a 401k account seems like outside your wheelbarrow or wheelbarrow, whatever that is to say.
So the 401k plan, there's the pension company that sets it up for you. It's kind of like a trust. When I was looking at the documents, even I just had to re-sign all the policy documents every year. It's almost like an irrevocable trust that we create for clients, but they create it in a sense of it's a pension, it's a policy, they're the managers, and then they tell an investment company what are the terms and how much to invest. And so it's your book person manages everybody's payroll, and then you give it to the CPA. They file the taxes, they check the payroll, how much their salaries are, and then now this third party, right, this pension company says, oh, you gave 20 employees this much salary, and they all deserve 3% based on your policy. So this is how much you need to put into your account. So then they tell you, and then now you take that amount, you put it in the account. And then there's a now fourth party, whoever is investing this money for you and managing it for you. So it's just two extra groups of people managing your funds. And realistically, as the owner of the business, you might want to set something up because it's to your benefit as the owner, right? So you can put in your own 401k as well, right? So.
And then with regard to life insurance, how much does it cost to do something? You wrote that it's inexpensive,
Yeah.
but like how much on your end is life insurance pretty cheap, I'm guessing?
Right. So we're talking about term life insurance in case something happens, then the life insurance kicks in, but it's only for a duration of 10, 20 years. If nothing happens, then it's like a true insurance. Then sorry, you don't get anything back, right? It's like car insurance, right? You're not going to wish that you get into a car accident, and you're not going to complain that, oh, I've driven for 10 years and I never got an accident. This was wasted, right? So it's term life insurance. And term life insurance are extremely cheap. So we're talking about like $20, $50 a month for an individual, and they just have the peace of mind. Oh, if something happens to me, well then there's this pocket of funds that can help my family. So it's these little. I mean, if we're talking about $20, $50, that's the cost of coffee or boba for for your team, right? But giving them that, because it's something that people just are not going to do, right? The percentage of people in the world who have life insurance is just so small. But when you have this, people kind of walk around like, wow, I have life insurance. Yes, it's not, you're not getting like a $5 million policy,
Yeah.
but it is something, right?
I hear you. No, that's good. I remember when I got married, my wife's employer got it, so I'm like, it covers like 100 or 1,000. Plus, you pay a little more, you get like more like a bump on that. I was like, oh, that's interesting. When I had
Yeah.
kids, I got like a multi-million-dollar policy. That's it was still we got a good price when I asked around, but that makes sense. Now, with regard to health insurance, talk about flexible health insurance. Something you say abolish a take it or leave it approach to health insurance, and instead of give cash bonuses to employees who opt out. Is that cash bonus? Because like they have things where you could give the employee money and they could use it as they wish, whether they put in health insurance or not. Is that considered part of their then W-2 wage that amounts, or how does it for tax purposes? How does that get shown? Do you know?
Yes. So if you're directly giving them cash, then they have to report it as is part of their income and they have to pay taxes on it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing that now. I have like employees with around the country, so then I'm like, oh wow, like they're all 10-9 right now. But once I make a W-2, I'm like, that's going to be a complex thing figuring out all these different state regulations. But I really want to get that stuff going because it's like the life insurance. It gives peace of mind for people to know that. Even though health insurance in the United States, you're paying a bunch of money and probably not getting much of it back, if any. You just keep paying money with the deductibles as high as they are.
And, and
Yeah,
this is really important because different people have different needs when it comes to health insurance. Younger people have a completely different idea. When you're in your 20s, you're not going to be paying really a high amount for health insurance. And so to some people, they don't want the health insurance. They rather get other things. Um,
exactly.
when you're closer to 30, 40, 50, health insurance becomes much more important, especially if you're hiring people who are seniors who are coming back to work.
Yeah.
They could say, I don't need any salary. You could give me zero salary, but please give me health insurance, right? And so it becomes a very interesting thing that what different people want. That's why the whole thing about like salary being completely transparent for everybody to see, it doesn't work because everybody has a different need and different want. And so some people don't want what they need to be known for everybody to see, right? And so some people just don't want salary and they want health insurance. Some people want a really high retirement plan, high life insurance, and they don't want salary, right? And but well, if you're young, you want to buy a house, you want to travel, you want all sorts of company perks to help you grow, and that's a completely different story, right? So it's really interesting hearing what people need and then working with different ethnicities, right? A Chinese person, a Korean person, Hispanic, doesn't matter what you are, what ethnicity, your age, everybody has a unique story. So you want to really listen to them and then come up with the best offer that you can possibly give them. And if they find another offer that's better, then at least you tried, right?
Yeah. Another one is help your team with tech upgrades, which I liked a lot because there's nothing more frustrating than having like a scanner that sucks. And so it's like it helps your firm, but it also like relieves a lot in the timing and efficiency, but it leaves stress. If they have a scanner that really feeds it well, goes fast, a printer that's fast, it's just less time standing in front of something for the printer, it breaks and stuff like that. As well as different, I've gotten like anti-cheap when it comes to buying certain apps and stuff for the team. I'm like, okay, everyone gets this one, everyone gets that one. Like just so it's easier and not having to like use the free version of something like that. It becomes really key.
Yep, yep.
Are there any particular apps that you use for like we use Slack for internal communications and Trello? Nadine Heights talks about Monday.com so much. She's coming on the show again. That we're gonna when we have time look into Monday.com to see if it's good. But are there any particular ones that you enjoy?
Um, this is a very recent thing, but we actually just got iPhones for everybody
Interesting.
because so much of the great functionality that you're shopping for, it's all existent on this really good device that transformed the world, right? So instead of doing Zoom calls, if everybody has the phone, you could just do quick FaceTime. If you need a good scanner, the phone could do that. If you need a text message, if you could, giving people that device and then having hotspot on the phone. So when people travel overseas, now they have immediate internet. They don't have to go buy a MiFi or internet. So it's so convenient that it became like, you know what? This should just be something that everybody gets. So
That's
it's on top
pricey.
of
I
it.
mean, how
Yeah.
much? My wife that has an iPhone. I'm an Android guy. She's begging me to stop at the Android. It's the whole age-old controversy. But I mean, how much the iPhone is like $1,000 a phone?
But if you have a good carrier, they might be able to give it to you pretty cheaply or inexpensively, right? Because they can sign you up for a deal. You're a business account. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll give you 5 phones and 5 phones free. They give you 5 upgrades. It's the phones itself is gonna be the loss leader for them, and you're gonna get it as a key big benefit.
Mhm.
It's the now, every month, 30, 50, $60 a month for each phone. That's gonna start adding up. But if these are your key teammates, then each person having a work phone really, really ups their life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that you list here using counterintuitive says number 9, help your team start a business. Is how you gonna do that without undermining what they're doing on their day job?
So what's really interesting is most people think that if you start a business, you are going to be a competitor. You're going to steal the clients. It's going to be a threat.
Mhm.
But when you're helping the employee think through the business plan, one of the first things to think about is who is your competition and what is the value that you're contributing and what is your ROI. So if you truly help them think through the process, it will take a really stupid person to think, okay, I am gonna quit my job and compete with my boss who's been doing this for way longer than I am, and I will just try to make my prices a little cheaper, but then I'll live miserably, right? So that would be, it will take a very certain type of person to kind of make that decision. What they will inevitably come to realize is like, my boss or I see in this industry, everybody has this bottleneck. Everybody needs this and nobody can do it. And where everybody is spending way too much money on this. You know what? I'm going to start a company that services that need. And just throw any example out there. Maybe it's mailing packages, for example, right? Everybody finished the case, the brief is done, but printing it, all the exhibits and taking it to FedEx, that so labor intensive and nobody can do it well. What if I just charge a certain fee and I could train a bunch of high school, college students to do that? Then I have a whole company running. That's essentially what legal service providers do, but nobody has done it for the immigration field. You know what? I'm going to do that. Or, all the business plan writers are not good. You know what? I'm going to create my own customized business plan writing company, or, et cetera, et cetera. Basically, when employees start firms, they are essentially solving your biggest need inevitably. And I've seen this happen again and again and again. And so they become the biggest asset to your company and you become their key partners.
Interesting. Another one is help your team improve their resumes. I like that because it had some hyper focus on what they're learning, and you learn what they're doing and what skills they could add and focus on. Just like because I've been doing a lot of as we're growing, my role becomes less and less day to day on cases, more on like business management, working on our vision statement, our mission statement, our milestones, our KPIs, all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I really want to develop my team player. So look at the resume and be like, well, you have the skill, let's get more of that. That's going to help the firm and the person on a personal level. It really deepens the relationship and the respect we have for each other that way.
Absolutely. Helping them grow as much as possible, as much as they want to as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I see that. I don't want to go through every single one of them because there's a lot, and I want people to read it. But I can go through a lot of them. Let me. I'll go back to the last page and see. So, like one of them, give your team value through certifications. Is this through purchasing certifications for other companies or giving internal certifications on certain things?
Both, and right, if it's meaningful for them to get a certification within internally, like, so this is something recently that we started to do. A
Mhm.
lot of the staff here is like, you know what, we really would appreciate a more detailed training plan. So now we're creating this internal year-long training course, so everybody's going through business training as well as leadership training as well as case management, right? So people know non-immigrant cases, immigrant cases, waivers and stuff like that. So people really enjoy that, and that could be on their performance review, and so that's good, and eventually they could teach the course, so that'll be good. But if somebody wants to go through and get a certification from like Cornell or an online program or something like that, and it will really help the firm, well,
Yeah.
then if the firm gives that as a benefit, then they might thrive.
Yeah, what they were going to do is for copywriting, I'm going to take a course myself and also have my associate, one of my associates, to take in. We compare course what we learned because copywriting and for marketing is really important. If they're down to do it, it's like okay, let's do it and help each other grow through it.
Yep.
Now you mentioned like taking leadership courses. I'd like to have you back on to talk about any particular courses you found helpful for yourself or for people. I'd be good to learn because at this point, I know there's another he's one of our guest speakers at the conference actually in LA. He's going to talk about marketing. Gianfranco de Girolamo, I think his name. His firm went from zero to like 100,000 YouTube subscribers in like 4 months.
That's great.
Multi-million TikTok people. And so he's coming to talk about marketing. And when I'm talking to him behind the scenes, he's like, our firm is growing so rapidly that most of my time is taking courses to figure out how to run this business, operations and management, all this kind of stuff. And it's a rapid growth he's going through. So he's constantly buying any course he can. He's like, the money is minuscule to what we get out of it. So he'll be talking about a lot of that stuff too at the conference. So if y'all want to come, we learn a lot from that marketing, but also if I'm one-on-one, I talk to him, this stuff's really helpful for me to think about as I'm growing the firm. Another one you talked about is assist your team with networking. This is really key because a lot of people, especially immigration lawyers, are shy, and lawyers in general, and the networking they do isn't as quality. What kind of stuff have you done? One is, I mean, obviously, like paying for going to an AILA conference or coming to our conference in Los Angeles, definitely. But other than that, is there any specific help you've done with people to kind of be less shy about it or guide them on how to connect or anything like that?
Well, it's more so empowering them to do it if they want to do it,
Mm.
right? So I know a lot of firms that actually don't allow their staff and their lawyers to network on
Yeah,
behalf of the company. Right? I've known so many, and because for whatever reason they clamp them down. And so the purpose of the article is like if somebody wants to thrive in that scene, if somebody wants to volunteer and really get to know more, the company should empower them, should support them, and give them the resources, give them an AILA account, give them and support them through these courses. And then when they become more involved with the community, then inevitably that should help the firm as well. So that's the concept of helping people grow. Now, it doesn't even have to be it doesn't even have to be mingling or networking in a traditional sense with state bar associations. It could be going to like chambers of commerce. It could be going through business meetings. It could be throwing a seminar. It could be even creating a Discord channel, inviting people who are interested in the same topic and talking about it. Right. The way to really display knowledge is just it's infinite right now with all the different things that you can possibly do.
exactly. Another one we went through, I didn't go through, was interesting was, have a budget for clothes and getting laundry done and, like, whatever that process is. I haven't gone to a place for years since COVID started, and I've always wearing t-shirts nowadays, so my suits are just drawing dust. But that'd be a fun thing to do, to have just some side money they get, so they don't have to worry about going out of pocket for paying for dry cleaning. That's the word. So that was a really neat one.
Yeah.
I want to end, and maybe we'll just keep talking to talk after this. But I want to, this one is create a mission statement, which is so vital in my courses where I teach. I always tell people start from the mission statement. It's easy not to start with that, but it's really a roadmap to what you want to become. And it literally, my mission statement became what my firm was for 10 years and stuck with it. And that led to success. And I knew what my boundaries were. So like essentially my mission statement was, top level service, just to paraphrase it, and only focusing on marriage cases and certain types of employment cases, not doing humanitarian cases, not doing removal. And it made it easy because when I first started and I wasn't making any money, a removal case would come where I could make some money off it. But I'm like, no, that doesn't match my mission statement. Stay focused. And that allowed me to overcome the inhibitions and the fear I had. And then I really was able to grow. And now I'm in the process of changing my mission statement and the vision for the firm. So I'm spending a lot of time and I have different books I'm reading and I'm just redoing it. Then I'm gonna go through with the team to make sure it matches theirs. And we're creating a mission statement for the public, which you're gonna put on the website so clients know what to expect from us, but also then an internal mission statement, which incorporates a lot of stuff you said here, like, a lot of personal development. It may not help the firm per se directly, but we want our team to have the best education knowledge, have time to be with their family. If they want to learn a course about some random thing that doesn't directly touch immigration law, I want them to do that to be well-rounded. And that's going to, even if they leave us, they'll always have a good impression of us. And at the end of the day, we're human beings. My number one goal is to help the world. And so that really is a help to the world by having that. But how much, let's talk, if you could, a little bit about your mission statement, how you share with your team and how you stay tuned, and anything else you can talk about on that topic.
Yeah, ours is pretty simple as well. We solve legal problems with creative solutions. So
Mhm.
any difficult case, those are the ones we thrive at. A lot of other firms outsource their cases to us to do, whether it's a difficult RFE or a very difficult client that just needs more management and it's a very nuanced case that's not boilerplate. Then eventually we have, and we actually do most of those, right, for the past 30 plus years. Now, that is what we do. And so our team is structured around that. So when we have a difficult case come in, then we pull in three, four, five, as many people as needed to work on this very difficult case. Sometimes it's because it's difficult because it's a time limit. You only have 2 week window to file this motion to reopen. Or sometimes it's just such a difficult case that has been denied multiple times, and now you need to appeal it up to AAO and then the federal court. Well, then we really work on that, right? Sometimes we need to plan out 5 years. We need to first file non-immigrant waiver and then get the green card for the spouse and then file an immigrant waiver. So it's a 5 year process. So it just takes a lot of effort. So those are things that our team is really focused on, and how to improve the efficiency. And our entire structure is built around that as well, right? So we don't take litigation cases because that's not our structure. We're not just trying to take in every single type of case. So there's things that we really, really focus on. And then there's the things that we absolutely don't take on. And so we draw that line very, very clearly as well.
There's two things. One is I got a Haranka waiver consultation set up, at which I don't focus on, so I got to remember to send them to your way. So you get an email on that. I'll tell the client to contact you anyways. But when you started out, what you said, I remember the catchphrase we're working on to really encompass it for us. It's going to be helping the world go around by getting you to where you need to be. And so, because our focus is going to be on global expansion and doing global migration eventually as well, so that global connection is there, and getting people to move around it, but also help the world go around, because we're going to do an emphasis on one is family based and help family creation and having children. Our marriage cases handle that, but also our extreme focus on L1 and EB1C businesses for multinational businesses, NIW and EB1A cases for a lot of scientist work we're going to be doing and we already are doing. So it's really helping the world go around to the next level. And I thought, I was talking with a coach, as a friend of mine who became a business coach, and he was talking with me, and he just said that. I'm like, wait a minute, helping the world go around by getting you where you need to go. I'm like, okay, it's you. The word "you" is in there, so clients connect with it. It shows immigration is a globe. It was catchy. I'm so fine tuning it, maybe short of just getting you where you need to go. And that's a little broader than immigration law per se. But we have white glove service, so sometimes people need a real estate agent and stuff. We're going to incorporate that. So okay, we can find that person to get you where you need to go, and all this kind of stuff. But it's a lot of fun, and it takes a lot of energy, mental energy to do it. And it's something that I constantly want to put off. I'm sure almost everybody else like this. Like, I'll do it tomorrow, but you got to buckle down and do it. It's probably one of the most important things you can do for your firm. It's really critical to think about that. So I'm glad we got a chance to talk about it. So check out the article. There's 40 of them. There's a lot of good stuff. And always reach out, Joseph. He's always really friendly. He's going to be talking at the conference. Joseph, if you have a couple more minutes, let me see our schedule. I'd like to just talk with you, see what's going on in your life, because my next meeting is happening in 30 minutes. So do you have a couple more minutes to talk? So how does life look? I mean, you have a small child. And you have a growing firm. So you have two families in that essence that are growing.
Right.
What are some personal bottlenecks you're seeing with your firm that you're trying to solve that are on your mind?
Well, right now, one of the most difficult things is we have 3 Regis offices, and just this month we are transitioning to 3 other bigger Regis offices. So moving all the furniture, getting the internet set up, and getting people in. So that's just been pretty tiring. And then it's the end of the summer, so we're winding down, finishing all the cases, and then people going on vacation, and then winding up to the end of the year, and then a lot of people having maternity leaves. So it's just a lot of people and cases and managing, and then we're launching all these new series on our YouTube channel as well. This topic, this article, 40 ways to keep employees happy. This is one of the articles that we created, a YouTube video we created a couple months ago, I think, and it was because that was right in the midst of the resignations, right? Like just all these people like planning on leaving or thinking about leaving, and that's just what industry is seeing. And a lot of clients have been contacting us for consultations on how to build up their company so they keep their employees. So we just kind of combined all the consultations, put it together, and then made this video, and then that's what became the article. But now we're kind of going into the end of 2022, so just so many things to manage, but it's exciting. Yeah.
Could you mention your YouTube channel in case people want to check it out?
Oh yeah, sure. It's Tsang, TSANGSLAW.
Sang
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did I'm guessing you have an HR department with a company this size. Do you have just straight up HR employees that help with things?
The way we do our firm is we have each manager a case manager, they could become a department manager. And so somebody who's managing cases, they can also take on the HR hat. That way they're fulfilling two roles at once. And that way it's also a way for them to grow outside just doing pure cases. They can do something that's a little bit more fun, that's running the company as a whole. So we have one person that's designated at the HR. Now, it's not just all on them. They have a payroll, they have a CPA, they can divvy out other tasks to other contractors, but they are the ones managing all the initial things about the HR.
It's interesting. I have a paralegal who asked, like, could I get involved in HR? I'm like, what's interesting? I didn't even think about it because it's like essentially I'm HR just and
Yeah.
I can't wait to get big enough. I can just hand this off because it's a real time crunch for me to have to do HR kind of stuff, figuring that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you go bigger, you need this kind of stuff and just have team members take on more responsibility and trust that they'll do it, just leave in their hands and that they're gonna take care of it.
And give them the training, give them books, give
Yeah.
them resources, and don't overwhelm them, right? So, sometimes what's bad about being a small firm is that one person has to wear so many different hats.
Yeah.
And so if somebody's wearing more than two or three hats, that's really their capacity because you don't want them to just burn out or do everything poorly. So
Yeah.
want them to excel at the two or three things that they enjoy doing. And then if you still need more, then you just have to hire more.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Joseph. I really appreciate it. I'm trying. There's a lot more we can talk about. I'm looking at time. I'm like, I want to keep these interviews a little bit tight so people can make sure to listen to the whole thing. But thanks so much. Stay on the line a little bit. We'll talk afterwards. But check out Joseph's article in the Toolbox magazine at immigrationlearnerstoolbox.com/magazine. Issue number 5. Definitely a must read. And hey, he's good. He's in LA. He's going to be at the conference talking about O1 visas. Really looking forward to it. If you want to get more information about the conference, I really want to see you there. Go to immigrationlearnerstoolbox.com/conference. The RSVP page is there, so you get updates as we open it up for registration. I think it's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see Joseph in person. I mean, it's been a while. I mean, we had a talk in Pepperdine. We did maybe like 2 years ago or something, right before COVID, and
Great.
we just video only since then.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll see you there.
Awesome. All right, talk soon.
All right.
We'll talk on the show. But bye, everybody. Thanks for listening.